Is that your role? Those of you who are officers? Yes? Yes? Is it to meet or exceed the highest professional benchmarks of law enforcement? Yes? What does that mean? For a moment, just let's imagine that you are a regular citizen and someone says to you, my job is to meet or exceed the highest professional benchmarks of law enforcement. Can someone tell me what exactly that means? I'm sorry?
To be the best.
To be the best?
Means whatever level of service that you last received, I need to exceed that.
Whatever service you last received, then you need to exceed it. Anyone else?
Work within the rules and regulations.
Walk within the rules of relationship. Do you all know what he means when he says walk within the rule of relationship? Of regulations?
Regulations.
Yeah.
Regulations. What does that mean?
Follow our policies and
Follow the policies.
Follow your policies and procedures. But understand, the question is, as an average person who doesn't know the rules of a police officer, how would I understand what any of that means? I probably wouldn't. Would you agree with that?
I think most of the community would probably think when they look at that from their standpoint, they would think it'd be to exceed or to assist me, work towards helping me,
Correct.
the community.
Correct.
You understand me?
Yes.
So that's what I'm looking at as a community, and that's what officers need to understand. When you're talking to the person, you cannot talk to them as the police jargon for police.
Correct.
They don't understand that. You have to speak to them on a regular terms.
Correct.
And make them understand that I'm here to help you. So they're looking at that as you gonna exceed and go above and beyond for me, the community, and assist me and help me.
Correct. Yes, sir?
I give you an example of going the extra mile. I work in Broward County. I live in Dade. I was at a gas station. A citizen comes up and says, hey, I'm looking for this address. I just drove here from Tallahassee. So I started to point him on his way. Said, well, you need to go here and make the right. He seemed confused and said, you know what? Just get in your truck and follow. So I took him to the address that he was looking for.
Was he
So it's just-
surprised that you did that? Absolutely.
So it's going that extra mile.
It's going the extra mile, and I love what you said, understanding that if you talk to civilians in the police jargon, they have no idea what you're saying. You know what you're saying. It's like if I came up here as a scholar and used 500 words, $500 words, and the person with GED, they would be looking at me as if I'm crazy, because half of what I would say, they would not understand it, simply because their highest level of education. We can't see police officers as being friendly. We can't. And so as we look at low self-esteem in many people's lives, we look at many police stereotyping, and we know that exists as well, where people are stereotyped, not always because of their color, but because of their economic and social standings as well. Because if you go into certain neighborhoods, the policing is totally different to what is done in the inner city. Do you disagree with that? Talk to me. I'm here to do research and make sure I'm saying the right things. Do you disagree? But even though I may understand that you have to do that sometimes, again, the average citizen does not understand that, because they have history with the police officers. And many of the history also has to do with family members who have been incarcerated, family members who have been shot, all of this. I was just at a huge seminar recently, and one of the things I asked them, because they were talking about police, and my thing to them was, how many genocide killings between black on black crime occurs in comparison to white cops killing blacks? And the two major advocate lawyers wanted to discuss it, but the panelists moved right past it. Because it was more important for media to continue making it seem as if there's this huge disparity of white cops killing versus genocide being done in the very culture that screams against the killings that are occurring.
And one of the person here is very rude to you, okay? Every time you see a friend, you say, don't go back to that Winn-Dixie because that Winn-Dixie is nasty people there.
Right.
You see, so in that sense, we are looked up on because of the uniform.
Right.
But it's up to us, or it's incumbent upon us to go out and try to make our community know that we're just not a uniform, we are individuals, and we're here to try to help.
Correct. And how do we do that, guys? How do we, away from joining organizations, away from doing all the things we do, how does a police officer get people to see him as a normal human being? How?
Act like normal.
Act and behave like a normal human being?
You control your one-on-one interaction with the community.
That's correct. That's correct. Everybody agrees with that, right? By the way you behave, because attitude, belief systems, and thoughts and processes is what leads us into the path we go. If our thoughts, attitudes, and belief systems are off, regardless of what type of job we have, it's only disaster that will occur. So we have to understand that everyone wants to be heard. And everyone wants to be recognized as the person they are and not just as an image or to be stereotyped. Because it's neither good for the civilian who says, you're a police officer, you're not nice, I don't have to speak to you. And they hurt your feeling because you know you're a really cool person, right? And they never see that aspect of it because that's not being spoken about. The only thing that's being spoken about is what the police officer does not do or should do, but go ahead.
I was going to add to that, a lot of this, and I speak at a lot of HOAs, and I try to tell them that a lot of stuff that they're hearing is through indirect experience.
Correct.
The person may not have experienced that themselves, but they're being told certain things.
Yes.
You know, so when they hear from their friends that, hey, I got pulled over and the cop was nasty or the cop beat me up, then when they come in contact with law enforcement, they automatically think that this is what's going to happen to them,
Correct.
when that may not necessarily be the case. So
That's
a lot
correct.
of times it's direct experiences that people are basing their perception and their judgment of law enforcement, whether it's a white officer or a black officer.
Correct, and that's the FOR, that's the frame of reference that people come with. If we think about how can we also help, one of the things police officers can do in a world that's filled with stereotype is to begin by examining why. Why do I feel this way about the person that I've just pulled over? Because even though it may take a fraction of a second for you to think that way, I am a black woman, and if I went in the inner city and I saw a kid with his pants sagging, gold teeth, dreadlocks, I would walk on the other side of the street. But the question I have to ask myself is why? And the answer I would give is because my son doesn't look like that person. He may be the same ethnicity, but he doesn't look like that person. And because he said to me was, I work for the mob in Miami. And then he wanted to tell me who the mob is. I'm like, I don't need to know. He said, I'm okay coming out of prison because I have money. I took the crime, I took the rap, I went in, I did my 30 years, and I'm set for life. But in the same room, I have tons of African Americans who come out for crimes like drugs and different crimes that has nothing to do with that, and they are not set. I just asked one last Monday, he killed someone while doing a drug deal, and I said to him, was it worth it? I said, well, you're a good criminal. Did you make a lot of money? He said, yes. I said, I'm sure you're broke now. He said, yes. So the attitudes and the mental thinking that people have, we as a community have to get together and help people to think for change. We really have to get people to understand how to think for change. We have to help people think outside the box. Just because everyone may believe in a certain way doesn't make it right. Police officers, if you are not prejudiced, if you're not a racist and you have someone in the force who is, you have a responsibility as well to ensure that that person understands you're not the same. I was sitting in front of a white lady. She's a director for a chamber. I won't say her name. And she started using profanity in front of me. I don't curse. And this is what she said literally to me as an educated black woman. She said, you black people get it. You understand how to be cool. If I was with my white friends, I would speak differently. But I know you get it. Again, I'm trying to share these things with you so you can have a proper understanding of why some people see life the way they see it. I'm a highly educated person, and you're going to look at me and say, I know you get it. I don't get it. I really don't. Come on now, I don't get it. Because I don't curse. And we're doing a business deal. I'm trying to join your chamber. And you felt like, I'm cool, so I get it. I went to Penn Dutch and a Hispanic young lady said, oh man, I'm so happy the hurricane came. They gave us our welfare check. Did you get yours? Thank you. And I'm like, where's all of this coming from? I must be doing something wrong. Because, between the coolness and the welfare, and there's nothing wrong if people are getting help from the government, but are you seeing what I'm saying about stereotyping? And it's the same thing. I know that it's so difficult for police officers to understand the difference sometimes. Because you may see someone, but if you are prejudiced, not always racist, because a racist believes they're superior. A prejudiced person is biased and judgmental. So if you judge people strictly off their skin color, white or black, that's sad. Because that's what leads to all of the chaos. And another thing that police officers have to learn more of, I would say, is body language. It is not enough to know the basics of body language. So I'm going to ask a question and see how many of you get it. Your body has eyes, ears, hands, feet. Which body part do you think is the most honest of all of your body parts? Yes. And we need to keep it clean. Your eyes? How many say eyes? Okay, young lady, why would you say eyes? And forgive me, officers, I'll call you gentlemen and young lady. Why would you say that?
Because people change the way either they're gonna look at you or they're not gonna look at you.
Okay. Do you know culture, some people don't make eye contact?
Right.
So is it your eyes? Body posture in terms of how you what?
Reserved, engaged.
Or you move your hands, right? So you say the hands as a body. Anyone else? Because I'm gonna prove you all wrong. Anyone else?
The mind.
The mind, the mouth, no.
The mind.
The eyes are taught to deceive because people know how to stare at you while lying. They even nod. Which one?
See, I can't say that because the reality is this. Look, that's why we need to know culture, know how to learn about different people.
Right.
Because you could sit there all day long. I've heard of the studies about the eyes, the hands, but like you said, you have different culture and different upbringing that will suggest something
Totally different.
So I can't really say what it would be. I think doing a proper investigation of something and looking at somebody over a period of time, you'll find out. Well, you'll find out.
I will tell you what it is though. It's your feet.
Your feet?
It's your feet.
No.
Your feet is the most honest part of your entire body.
Yeah.
Wherever your feet is positioned, that's where your focus is. If I'm talking to you and you're standing in front of me with your feet this way, it means you're engaging in what I'm saying. If you're talking to me but you're doing this with your feet going this way, it means I've lost you, you're ready to go. And you need to move forward.
I think that's opinionated.
It's not opinionated. And that can only come about by, as well said, how we as police officers handle ourselves day to day. And when we see racism in our very units, we need to speak up against it. Thank you.
Boy, she got away quickly, didn't she? Couldn't even hug it. But you're always going to be part of the community dialogue. So that's when we'll have the doctor come up and present her with a presentation. Okay. Cheryl doesn't realize that we've had 3 chiefs, majors, and all, and she even mentioned the Explorers and the PAL that you did, and lessons learned by our 2 chiefs. And so we have done. You'd be surprised. This has been a really well-spent day, and that was just excellent, and I thank you.